This is an area in between two places that are in complete contrast to each other. You've got Tonglor, which is posh, Prakanong, which is not posh. So what do we get in between? Well, that's what we're going to find out in this video today. So welcome to Ekkamai. Ekkamai is one of those places that you could describe as unspectacular, I suppose. A few thousand residents might disagree with that. Someone told me that the area around the BTS station hasn't really changed in the last 20 years, although a few tall, good-looking condos and a shopping mall might have made a bit of a difference. I've been racking my brains thinking of when the last time I saw a film in there was, and I do remember that you could still smoke in the cinema at that time, so we're talking maybe 19, 20 years. And it was also the first place where I experienced my first ever salad bar at Sizzler, and I remember it was 79 baht and it's still in business. The Eastern Bus Terminal, or Ekkamai bus station, was opened in 1960 on the edge of Bangkok. Back in those days, all the bus stations were on the outskirts of the city. It was serving Rayong, Sattahip and Pattaya, which were up-and-coming destinations back in those days. Known in later years for the sex tourist shuttle bus to Pattaya. I'm not sure why it would be called that. My first experience of a bus to Pattaya from here was the wrong one. I took the slow one, stopped for a wheel change outside Sirachar, and it took 4 hours. I was hoping to visit the Ingram boxing gym on this video, but unfortunately looks like the land has been completely cleared, which is a shame, because when I visited a year ago for the Sukhumvit video, they'd just moved to that location. So as far as I can see, they've moved to Taling Chan. I've trained here before in 2007 when it was in Sukhumvit, and this time I was hoping to get a bit of training footage or even talk to one of the trainers, but that's a shame. So we're going to head down Ekkamai Road, or Soi Ekkamai, or Sukhumvit 63 as it's also known. That goes from here to Petrabury Road. Along the way we've got some tragedy, some wildlife, some interesting history, a couple of urban legends and a few other things that might raise a few eyebrows. Tonglo and Ekkamai are home to a big Japanese population, and that is reflected in the two main shopping malls around here. You've got Donkey Mall right here on Soi 5, and you've got Gateway by the BTS station. So if you're looking for something quirky or different that you don't find in your local big C, then it's definitely worth coming down and checking these two places out. Well, I've come to Gateway Shopping Mall and I'm going to test that theory out. Can you buy stuff here that you can't get in Big C? I thought the ideal shop would be Daiso, you know, the famous Japanese household store. So let's go and check it out. Well, I just had a look around Daiso and I didn't find anything quirky whatsoever. There used to be a Boeing store here in Gateway Mall, and you could buy model aeroplanes, airfix kits, t-shirts, key rings, all kinds of souvenirs. And they had an area at the back of the shop where you could sit in a simulation and pretend to be a pilot. You could actually dress up and have your photo taken. And I convinced a lot of my friends for many years that I was indeed a professional pilot. And I almost changed my name to Walter Mitty. That's Gateway Shopping Mall, where you can be whatever you want to be, a pilot or Walter Mitty, anything you want. Anyway, this is Soi 40 and I wanted to show you a place that is fun to stay. You can have a good meal, you can hang out with all the boys, and you can do whatever you feel. So it's just up the road here. All right, I know it's not very funny, but it's my YMCA joke that I've waited years to do. I don't know the dance moves, in case you're wondering. Anyway, it's a coffee shop and they got food on the menu, so you could probably get yourself a good meal. Anyway, let's get back to Soi Ekkamai. On New Year's Day 2009, this was the scene of a tragic accident when Santika Nightclub was destroyed by fire. Indoor fireworks led to an inferno in which 66 people lost their lives and over 200 were injured. Unsurprisingly, the land has not been developed since. Soi Ekkamai has always looked like a street that's in transition. Even in the old days, there was always businesses opening and closing, fancy shops and stuff, wondering if this place is going to become the next Tonglo. At the moment, as you've seen, there's a lot of condos being planned, not a lot of land being cleared, so maybe in 5 years' time this place will become the hip and trendy spot they're all hoping for. This end of Ekkamai is a bit less gentrified than the Sukhumvit end back there, and Sois 23 and 30 are typical examples of how things haven't really changed that much in maybe 30 years around here. That way heads towards Petrbury Road and goes over the Klong San Seb Canal, which reminds me about something. I've been thinking, this canal has featured in the last 2 or 3 videos, and lots of others, especially the ones, Sukhumvit themed ones. And I'm thinking maybe it's about time we gave it its very own tribute video. So I'm gonna do that in the next month, a tribute to the Klong San Seb, and you heard it here first. I'm under the flyover here, and this is the exact point where the original Ekkamai Road bridge crossed over the Klong San Seb Canal. As expected, there's no trace at all of the original bridge, which is a crying shame because it was a lot more attractive than this concrete structure they've put up. As you can probably hear, there's quite a bit of activity going on. There's skateboarding over on that side with a fitness park. This side there's a community under the flyover, and in that direction is a lovely little garden that's been put up right in the middle of the intersection by the Parks Department, and we'll go and have a look and see what kind of stuff they're growing. It's about 6:30 now, darkness is creeping in. I wanted to be here when it was completely pitch black, but that's not really possible because I've been advised that it's not that safe on this side of the canal when it's dark, so I'll take the guy's word for it. Anyway, earlier on I went under the flyover, had a chat with this guy, very well spoken English by the way, and he was telling me about life living under the flyover. And he's been here about 10 years. He says a lot of people come and go, they don't stay very long. And this is because sometimes when it's really quiet, they can hear screams. And apparently 40 odd years ago, a young couple jumped off the old bridge in a suicide pact. It was a case of forbidden love. They drowned in the canal. He was a Muslim, she was a Buddhist, and their parents totally disapproved of it. So as ghost stories go, it's pretty believable, superstitions and everything. And I'm not going to hang around and wait for the screams, but pretty good story.